At 70, the scoreboard of life looks a little different. Winning no longer means chasing promotions or running marathons. It's about mastery over the things that make life worth living. And those victories, they're often hidden in the small, often overlooked things we can still do with grace. In my years as a geriatric physician, I've met 70-year-olds who move through life like quiet champions. Not because of big accolades, but because they still do 6 essential things. If you can still do these, you're not just aging, you're aging well. I'm Dr. Eli Morgan. Let's explore what they are and why they matter more than ever. 1. You can walk 500 steps without needing to rest. Let me tell you about Mr. Jensen, 74 years old and still walks to the park every morning with a newspaper tucked under his arm. It's about 500 steps each way, and while he moves a little slower than he used to, he does it without pausing for breath or leaning on a bench. Most wouldn't think twice about that, but for someone his age, that's a quiet triumph. Walking 500 uninterrupted steps, roughly a quarter of a mile, is a basic yet powerful measure of cardiovascular resilience. According to the Canadian Cardiovascular Society, walking capacity is a more predictive marker of long-term survival than cholesterol or blood pressure alone for seniors over 65. Why 500 steps? Because that's the real-world equivalent of getting through the grocery store, walking through an airport terminal, or navigating a mall without collapsing into a chair. If you can manage that comfortably, it means your heart, lungs, and leg muscles are functioning in harmony. That kind of coordination is no accident. It's a result of daily effort, intentional movement, and often decades of healthy habits. Too many older adults ignore early signs of decline, the shortness of breath after one flight of stairs, or the need to take the elevator just this once. Over time, those little choices accumulate. Muscles atrophy, endurance plummets, and independence shrinks. But if you can still walk 500 steps without sitting down, you're preserving not just your fitness, but your freedom. Even better, studies from King's College London show that seniors who walk at least 400 meters, about 500 steps, daily maintain better brain volume, emotional regulation, and lower rates of depression. Walking stimulates circulation to the brain and enhances oxygen flow. It literally keeps you sharp and steady. So next time you're tempted to park closer or skip that short walk, think of it differently. Every step you take without pause is a quiet rebellion against decline. And if you're still walking tall at 70, like Mr. Jensen, rain or shine, you're not just exercising. You're winning at life. 2. You remember conversations, not just dates. Memory isn't just about remembering where you left your glasses. It's about remaining present, truly engaged with the people and stories that matter most. When 71-year-old Maria sits down with her granddaughter and recalls a conversation they had last week, even remembering the joke she made, that's more than sweet. That's cognitive strength in action. The ability to recall dialogue, tone, and emotional nuance is a sign of something powerful. Episodic memory. This is the kind of memory that connects moments together. It's what allows you to not just remember what happened, but how it felt. And in aging, that's one of the first faculties we begin to lose, unless we actively protect it. According to a recent study from the Rotman Research Institute in Toronto, seniors who remain socially and cognitively engaged, including remembering conversations, showed a 32% slower rate of hippocampal shrinkage. That's the part of the brain responsible for memory processing and emotional connection. And here's the beautiful part. Keeping your memory sharp doesn't require crossword puzzles or online brain games alone. It comes from real-world connection, listening deeply, talking often, recalling events in vivid detail, and telling your stories. Maria doesn't journal her conversations or take notes. She remembers because she's present. She listens with curiosity and shares with joy. Her mind remains a living archive, not because she has better genes, but because she actively uses her memory. Like a muscle, it strengthens through repetition and engagement. A 2022 paper published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity revealed that emotional storytelling, the act of recounting emotionally resonant events, improved memory function in adults over 70 by 23% more than logic games or rote memorization alone. So, if you can remember not just what you had for dinner yesterday, but who you were with, what they said, and how it made you feel, you're doing more than flexing memory. You're staying emotionally anchored. You're demonstrating presence, connection, and vitality. That is, in many ways, more important than any number in a cognitive test. Keep your mind open, your ears tuned, and your stories flowing. If you can still laugh about a moment from last week or recall a friend's advice word for word, your memory isn't fading. It's thriving, and that's winning. 3, you can put in pants while standing up. I know it sounds funny, but hear me out. If you're 70 and can still put on your pants while standing, one leg at a time, you've got something a surprising number of seniors are quietly losing: balance. Let me introduce you to Wallace. He's 72, lives alone, and insists on wearing slacks with a belt every morning, never sweatpants. Why? Because, as he says, if I can still stand on one foot and pull a leg through, I know my body's still with me. Wallace is on to something. That seemingly simple task is actually a complex orchestration of strength, proprioception, and neuromuscular coordination. According to a 2021 study by the University of São Paulo, individuals over 65 who could stand on one leg for 10 seconds were 47% less likely to die in the following 7 years than those who couldn't. It wasn't about vanity, it was about vitality. Balance is a silent protector. It keeps you from falls, fractures, and fear. Lose your balance and the world becomes dangerous. Stairs, slippery sidewalks, even showers can become risks. But maintain it and you preserve your independence. What's more, balance isn't just physical, it's neurological. Your vestibular system, your inner ear, your cerebellum, all have to fire in sync. That's why people with early cognitive decline often begin to wobble, sometimes before memory issues appear. Exercises like Tai Chi, single leg stances, or walking heel to toe can dramatically enhance your balance. But the real test? Put on your pants without sitting down. If you can do that without reaching for a wall or wobbling, you're working with a body that still listens to you. And remember, this isn't a competition. No one's judging. But if you're in your room tomorrow morning, standing tall, lifting one knee, sliding that leg through, and doing it again on the other side, take a moment, smile. You've still got control. Your core is engaged. Your brain is tuned in. Your muscles are aligned. Wallace might laugh when he tells people his morning test, but it's no joke. It's one of the clearest signs that aging hasn't slowed his systems. If you've still got the balance to dress standing tall, you're not stumbling into old age, you're walking into it on your own terms. And yes, that's a win. 4, you can still laugh without holding back. There's a woman I once knew, Joan, 76, who had this unmistakable laugh. Loud, unfiltered, from the belly. She lost her husband a decade ago, has arthritis in both hands, and struggles with her vision. But that laugh, still as strong as ever. And every time she laughs, it feels like her entire body rejoices. If you're still laughing, not polite chuckles, but real, eyes closed, breathless laughter, you're doing more than enjoying life. You're building resilience. Laughter has been studied more seriously than you'd think. In a 2023 meta-analysis by Kyoto University, researchers found that seniors who laughed frequently had 34% lower levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. It also raised serotonin levels and improved blood vessel dilation, lowering blood pressure naturally. But more than that, laughter is an emotional anchor. It connects you to others. It makes you relatable, alive, present. As we age, the world can sometimes get smaller. Friends pass, families move away, energy dwindles. But laughter keeps us in touch with life's absurdities, surprises, and moments of joy. Joan once told me, "The world can be falling apart, but if someone slips on a banana peel in just the right way, I'll still laugh." That attitude, that ability to find humor even in gray days, is a powerful form of emotional immunity, and laughter doesn't always need to come from jokes. It can be found in watching squirrels argue, kids mispronounce big words, or remembering the time you wore mismatched shoes to church. It's in the irony, the silliness, the recognition that life is too strange to take entirely seriously. From a neurological perspective, laughter activates multiple brain regions simultaneously: the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex, which is why it helps delay cognitive decline. A 2019 UCLA study even suggested that watching 15 minutes of comedic content daily reduced memory complaints in older adults by 40% over 6 months. So if you're still laughing, if you can lose yourself in a funny story or chuckle at your own mistakes, you're doing something profoundly healing. You're reminding your brain and your body that joy still lives here. Never underestimate the power of humor. If you've still got your laugh, unfiltered, deep, contagious, then your spirit is not just intact, it's shining. And trust me, in a world that often feels too serious, that's a rare and wonderful kind of victory. 5. You keep in touch with people. You don't have to. Friendship in our 70s doesn't just happen. It's chosen, protected, and nurtured. Like a garden you keep watering long after everyone else has gone inside. Take Leonard. At 73, he still sends birthday cards, real ones with a pen, to 5 friends from his college days. One lives across the country, another in a care facility. Sometimes they don't write back, but Leonard doesn't stop. It's not about what I get, he told me. It's about keeping the thread alive. That thread, connection, is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. According to the Harvard study of adult development, people with strong social ties at 70 were significantly happier, had better memory retention, and lived up to 7.5 years longer on average than their more isolated peers. And it's not just about having someone around, it's about emotional intimacy. The kind of relationships where you can share disappointments, talk about the weather and mortality in the same breath, and know you're not alone in your experience. Sadly, many older adults stop reaching out. They wait for others to call. They assume they're forgotten. But the truth is, the effort you put into connection is a kind of self-care, a reminder that you're still part of a larger world. Social neuroscience backs this up. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, surges when we make meaningful contact with others, even through voice or written words. That surge improves immune response, reduces inflammation, and enhances mood. No pill required. And it's never too late. I've had patients in their 80s make new friends at dance classes, church potlucks, even community gardening groups. They don't call themselves social butterflies. They just show up. And showing up matters, whether it's maintaining a decades-long friendship or striking up new ones. If you still prioritize connection, not out of obligation but desire, you're practicing emotional fitness. That's as essential as walking or stretching. So if you're the one still calling, texting, visiting, or sending handwritten notes. Keep going. If you still attend your friend's art show or ask the grocery clerk how their kids are, you're doing more than being polite. You're weaving your life into others. And in this stage of life, that tapestry of relationships may be the most important thing you leave behind. If you're still investing in people, you're not fading. You're flourishing. And that truly is a win. 6, you still cook your own meals. There's something quietly powerful about walking into your own kitchen, reaching for a skillet, and cooking up a meal, even if it's just for one. It may seem ordinary, but it's one of the clearest markers that you're still steering your own ship. Meet Eileen. She's 75, widowed, and lives in a modest apartment. The 6 quiet victories of aging. So let's recap. If you're walking 500 steps without pausing, remembering real conversations, balancing while dressing, laughing from your gut, keeping friendships alive, and cooking your own meals, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Each of these actions might seem small on their own, but together they reveal something extraordinary: resilience, autonomy, vitality, and joy. They're the proof that you're still in motion, mentally, emotionally, physically. At 70, the definition of winning isn't flashy. It's quiet, steady, and deeply meaningful. And if you recognized yourself in any of these 6 things, you're already living proof that age is just a number and life is still yours. If any of this resonated, take a moment today to notice what you're still capable of and celebrate it. Maybe even share this with someone who's walking the same road as you. Remind them and yourself that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's found in the way you stand, the way you laugh, or the way you season your stew. There's beauty in aging, in power, in recognizing all the ways you're still alive, aware, and active. If you're 70 and still doing these 6 things, you're not just winning at life. You're showing the rest of us how it's done.